he could not tell me how much he'd be paid, what the margins were, when he'd be paid. Revolutionary idea, nobody's doing it. Dumb idea, because he couldn't make any money. And I asked Tom, I said, how much have you invested in this? He says, I've invested $100,000. I says, whose money? He says, my own. I says, are you married? He said he was. And I said, you're not going to be married long. The bottom line is that you've got to know where the money's coming from. You've got to know when payday is. That's a critical part of your model. Alright? So far when you come up with your revolutionary idea, you got to know. Meets customer value, you can grow it, you can get paid. These can change. This is part of a business model. Connected activities, that's where I get my supply. And when the supply comes into the factory, I'm going to alter it this way, and I'm going to paint it and grind it and package it. Those are the connected activities that from getting the raw material through your company to your customer. Those are the connected activities. Those can change. Those aren't critical. They change all the time. They change all the time. And so it's not a critical part of the business model because it's not going to determine whether you succeed or fail because you can change them. How you implement, again, where your structure, your systems, your people, how you pay them, how you carry out the activities, what your operating procedures are, those can change. Those can change. So it's part of the business model, but it's not a deal killer. All right? These two are. All right, get ready for this first one. Capabilities. Capabilities are the skills you need to do whatever that new revolutionary idea is. For example, if I wanted to create a whole new calculator that's different than any other calculator that's out there right now, but I look inside my company and my organization, and I don't have the skills, I have a problem. I have a real problem. Most investors will look at you and say, well, we have nobody that can do this. Do you guys know the show Ali G? Comes out of Great Britain. Ali G? The young people do. Ali G, that's great. Ali G, it's one segment. He brings out the top of a skateboard. And he holds it up to an investor. And he says, you know what this is? And the investor said, that's the top to a skateboard. And Ali G said, no. He says, that's a hoverboard. He says, it's a hoverboard. He says, a hoverboard? What's a hoverboard? He says, have you seen Back to the Future where there's no wheels and you just... That's a hoverboard. He says, this is a hoverboard. And the investor said, well, does it work? He says, this is a revolutionary idea. It'll change the way we travel. He says, but does it work? He says, it's all I need is a scientist that will help me make it hover. You help me find a scientist that will make it hover, I got a business. And the venture capitalists looked at it and said, bye, you're done. And threw him out of the office. If you don't have the capabilities, you've got to find the capabilities. I'm working with a German company right now that I won't give you their name, but I'll tell you what they do. They deal with wireless technology. You need a certain bandwidth for wireless technology. If I have a microphone, for example, and it's a wireless microphone, I've got to project that sound from here to that speaker. Okay? They lost the bandwidth to be able to do that. They're forced to come up with a revolutionary idea. They don't have the capability. I know, because I met with all our research and development staff. They don't have the capability. So you know what their strategy is? They have developed a global network to find the capability. This company's 100 years old. And they're trying to save the company now. And they put out a global network, to labs, to universities, to entrepreneurs, to find the capability to do something revolutionary. Because without it, they can't survive. I can tell you, as you look inside your company, and you come up with that revolutionary idea, and you look inside the company, I want specific names of people that can do the job. You've got to come up with specific names. If you don't have that, you've got to look outside the company. You've got to find it. Because without it, you've got a cool light, you've got a hoverboard. Without it, you're not going anywhere. Okay? Sustainability is also scarred. You can have the greatest idea in the world, but if your competitor can immediately copy you, you've got a problem. You can't sustain the business, and it's not worth the investment. Okay? I got a business that I'm starting right now. Okay? I am. It's a software thing. And I've got the investor all excited about it. It's a software thing. And the first thing that the investor wanted to know is, are you going to patent this? Well, I thought about patenting the idea. But the first thing the investor says is, don't patent it. Don't patent it. I says, why? He says, because once you patent it, the code is out there for anybody to see. So don't patent the software. Okay. He says, what we want to do, and this guy was one of the top, or first 10 people with Microsoft. This guy he started Visio.com and sold to Microsoft for $1.5 billion. So when he says, don't patent, I didn't patent. I wanted to make it sustainable. So the bottom line is we want to build revolutions today. We're going to build new ideas today. But we want these things that can be competitive and sustainable. We want to build sustainable competitive advantage in the market. And we're going to do this with something I call the three-circle model. Now, 5 minutes, watch this. 5 minutes to a break because the coffee's just warming up. Okay. Three-circle model. The three-circle model was created by 2 professors, me and Joe Irwin. And I'm going to give you the 400,000-foot view of the model. I'm going to give you the big picture, and then after our break, we're going to come back and go to work. Okay? Enough talk, it's time to work. Okay? So here's the big picture. 3 circles. The first circle is the customer. Alright? We've got to know our customer. That's the first circle. The customer is the first circle because without the customer we have no business. The second circle is you, your company, the firm, your organization. And inside your organization you have skills, abilities, you have competencies, you've got market position, you've got networks. Whatever your company is, that's you. That's the second circle. Well, what's neat is the first circle and the second circle overlap. Now watch this. This is true of every organization. Now watch this. This is your company. This is the customer. This area here is wonderful. This is competencies, services, and products that I produce that the customer actually wants and buys. This is area A. It's going to be cut up in a minute. But right now, if there were only 2 of us, this is area A. This is my competitive advantage. This is my pie, my point of differentiation. This is used competencies and met needs. And I want this to be as big as possible. In fact, if this could be right on top of it, I'd have a monopoly and life would be good. But usually is what happens is that I have skills, abilities, competencies, ideas, people that aren't used. Okay? Do you know where a lot of the great entrepreneurial ideas come from? They come from here, and they're not listened to. And so they go out and start their own companies. That happens a lot. But inside the company, you have unused knowledge, unused abilities, skills. You have unused assets. You have unused resources. I work with Continental in Germany, Hanover. And one of their unused assets, they had millions and millions and millions of oil that just sat there. And I'd go to the chief financial officer and I'd say, "Here, HIPAA, do something with this. Do something with this." And he says, "I'm trying." He says, "If you can find something for me to buy a company, I'll buy a company." Find something for me to buy. And they bought. They bought a division from Motorola, and they bought a division from Siemens. And they kept buying. But there was so much money here that they had a hostile takeover. A little teeny ball bearing company in Stuttgart bought Continental. It's like a mouse buying an elephant. They bought the elephant. Unused competencies. Over here, we have unmet needs. The customers always want something, desire something, and their needs may be met, but not met well. And they're not happy. And they'll come to your salesperson and they'll say, well, could you guys do this? We've always wanted somebody to do this. Is it possible for you guys to do this?